What's going on, everybody? Another episode of the Cornerman_MMA with my man, the Italian gangster, Danny Sabatello. Danny, congratulations on the win over Higo. How you doing today?
Doing great, man. This is victory week, so obviously having some fun with it. I know I can't get too carried away because I do have this massive mega fight with Stots coming up. Of course, nothing's announced yet. I don't know when and where, so we don't know that yet. They should announce something maybe later this week or next week. But yeah, definitely just having fun, enjoying myself. I got no injuries, no nicks, no bumps, no bruises. So feeling fucking really good.
Yeah, you deserve it, man. You had two tough fights back to back. You're going to be in shape. You're going to sweat the poison out in 3 days. That's how I always look at it on turnarounds like that.
No, absolutely. But there's a lot of poison going in the body right now. But again, you know what? It just makes the wins that much more sweeter. It just makes you more motivated when you know that after everything and the long, grueling training camp and the winning, you get to enjoy it. So I'm a guy that absolutely enjoys the wins no matter what happens. MMA is just a crazy game. Wins are so hard to come by. The sport's nuts. You can lose in the blink of an eye. So you got to enjoy the fucking victories.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you gotta stop and smell the roses sometimes. You absolutely have to. It's so important. Otherwise, why else do we do it? That's how I always looked at it. Um, I got to give you some crap about my peoples, the CT crowd. You had some choice words to say about them, but I do understand your frustration. So go ahead, and I'm going to give you what they need to know, what I think they need to know. But you go ahead and you tell me how you feel about that.
Well, you know what? Walking into that cage, it was funny. I think Higo got a little bit more applause than I did. So
Mhm.
immediately I was thinking, you know what? Fuck this. If they're going to cheer for a Brazilian over their own American, then it's going
Mhm.
to be fuck you this whole fight. They started booing and all that. And I'm not a guy that's just going to sit there. If you're going to talk shit to me or you're going to boo me, it's going to be right back at you. Go fuck yourself. Obviously, I'm not going to sit around and just let people talk shit. So obviously, I was just having fun with it because you know what? I fucking love the booze. I always say, you know what? You can either boo me or love me. It makes no difference to me. I don't really give a shit. I kind of love being hated. It kind of fuels me even more. It makes it more fun for me. And if you look at my fights, obviously my fans and everybody in the crowd is more engaged than any other fight. Those boos were absolutely piercing. My ears are still ringing from that. So I just wanted the crowd to understand they could go fuck themselves. And you know what? I understand that you might find me for some of my actions. My mouth kind of gets me in trouble from here to here and there. But it is what it is. I want the fans to know exactly who they're dealing with and Danny Sabatello and who he is. So you can't really censor me. I don't really care too much about money. I don't care too much about fines. And I just want people to understand what they exactly get with me. So you know what? I'm just going to keep being me, and I'll never change.
That's why I said I didn't wear this shirt on accident, my man. I had you in mind when I picked it out of the laundry pile this morning. So, actually, I was thinking about your response with that, and I don't know if you remember. There was this player. It made me think of this too. There was this player called Ron Smart or Rod Smart. I forget. Hold on, I got to look it up. But he played in the XFL, and he was well known. He was the most known XFL player. It was Rod Smart because they were able to put nicknames on the back of their jersey, and his nickname was "He Hate Me," and they're like, "Why is that your nickname?" You know why? Because I'm so good. He hate me. He hate me. He hate me. I'm beating her boyfriend. She hate me. And I was like, dude, that's Danny, man. If I
Yeah,
find a Rod
absolutely.
Smart,
Dude, that's
I
great.
got
And it makes it more fun for everybody. I mean, I don't really give a shit if people do hate me. I understand that a lot of people can't take the hate. A lot of people I
to.
think should stay off Instagram, Twitter, all that fake world, all those fake fucking people because mentally they just can't take it. I think I'm different. I love it when people hate me. That guy's fucking nickname is epic, and I'm sure he thrives on people hating him too. I should do something a little bit like that.
He loved it. I'll text you his how he talks about it. He goes, I loved it. I loved how everyone, and he's like, and the crowd, like he played for the Vegas Outlaws. It got to the point where the crowd was behind it. He hate me. He hate me as he was
No
running and shit.
way.
And
Yeah,
oh, it was
that's
great.
awesome on his end. Yeah, and that's
So
what promoting his sport and everything. So props to him. That's very creative. I like being creative. I make shirts making fun of my opponent. We got some other stuff in the works. So it's just going to be a very exciting time, and it's just only going to get bigger and better and just more creative.
absolutely. Now I think that the part of the reason maybe Higo was a kind of a favorite up there is because people don't realize this, but Connecticut, Massachusetts, there's a lot of Brazilian influence. There's a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu schools. People come over from Brazil. They stick to their tribe, I guess. That could have been it. But let's go on to the next thing. I know I had so much stuff to. I actually had to write it down this time what I wanted to talk about with you. But you won the fight 4 rounds to 1. I thought it was great. It was a tricky matchup, so to speak. But I think of all the matchups within the tournament, I think that this was the one that you had to. That was the most challenging for you, and you surpassed with flying colors. Talk a little bit about that. Maybe talk about the 1 round that got away from you. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? This is a very tricky matchup just because Higo is so elite on the ground. He's obviously a veteran. He's an experienced guy. He's got some tremendous wins. And the way he fights is he's looking for you to slip up for a millisecond, and then he can capitalize it and squeeze your fucking neck off. His guillotine is one of the best guillotines in MMA. And going into that fight, I knew that. So I kind of have to be a little bit more smart against him. You kind of do need to limit your risks a little bit. You can't completely open up or he's going to capitalize on that. And he's just baiting you. So you obviously got to be smart. You got to do what you got to do to win. You got to also piece him up, win the rounds. But I know with this fight, it was more so of his path to victory is submitting me. Okay. So I have to have that in the back of my mind with everything, every strike, every punch, kick, shot. I need to have in the back of my mind the intent of this guy might jump guillotine. He might go for an armbar, Kimura, leg lock. So obviously be cautious, be smart. And sometimes it is a little bit less boring in that fashion just because this guy is just looking for something to snatch up. With my next fight with Stots, obviously it can be a lot more exciting. I can open up a lot more. He's not as elite on the ground, so you could just kind of have these exchanges going back and forth. You can take more risks because the risk-reward factor isn't as deep as the one with Higo. With that second round against Higo, he got my back, and it got to a point where he had it for about a minute and a half. I realized I was going to lose the round, but I already won round 1, so I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Let's cut our losses. Let's just lose this round, do whatever we can to not get finished, and not panic. A lot of guys in that cage, especially in Bellator, a big promotion. We got fucking thousands and thousands of people watching on Showtime. I got a whole crowd booing me. I'm very happy that I was able to stay composed and just relax in there, man. He's got my back, but you know what? No big deal. He's going to win the round. I won't sweat it. We got 3 more rounds. So I was actually glad that happened. I was glad I faced some adversity in that Bellator cage. And it was really good because once that bell rang and I survived it, I think it broke him because he knew that was his opportunity to win. He needed to submit me there. He didn't. I got up. I was fresh. And then I went out there and I dominated him the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I'm perfect that we left off right there. Dominate. You said something on the Ariel Helwani show. I don't even think you realize how correct you were with what you said. So as you know, I've been having a lot of the commission directors on the show and just like debating, discussing scoring and the disconnect between fighters and judges. One of the scoring, it's number 3 on the list is in an MMA round is dominance. Dominance is a factual scoring technique, and you exhibited that, and people were booing it. And this is what sets me off about like with people booing that. Like it's your job to win, and you're doing that. Now, if he wants to stand up, it's his responsibility to get on his feet. It's not your job. It shouldn't be the ref's job to stand it up. I understand sometimes people are chewing clock, but like if he wants to improve position, it's his responsibility to do that. If he doesn't want to do that, don't go in an MMA fight or a wrestling match. And like Danny, and you're
this is why I always say MMAs are such fucking idiots. They just don't understand the game. But I got to keep that in mind. And when I'm fighting, and I think fighters kind of lose track of this, is that there's just so many drunk fucking idiots in the stands that don't give a fuck about anything other than wanting to see somebody die. They want Rock'em Sock'em robots. They don't give a shit about a sport or how to win a fight. They just want to see somebody get their fucking head knocked off. So just fuck them. Who gives a shit? And also, you know what else is boring? Domination. Domination is boring in every single sport. Obviously, it's going to be boring if this guy can't get up, if he can't initiate exchanges or scrambles. Yeah, a 56-0 score in sports is very fucking boring. It's boring in football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Yeah, it's the same thing with fighting. If I'm dominating this guy on the ground and he can't get up, of course that's boring. But it's not like I was just taking him down and holding him there. I think I ended up with 11 takedowns and 117 strikes on him. So you know what? If you understood fighting, you realize that was a dominant performance, and you realize that it was an exciting performance. But obviously, if you're a fucking idiot, you could go fuck yourself.
Yeah, man. Like that's like exactly how I feel about it. Like, and you know what? And honestly speaking, like, I mean, maybe we're biased. We both come from a wrestling background. An amateur wrestling match, like the NCAA level, is not boring. You know, like these people are on the ground working to get up. Yeah, it's tiresome, but you know what? If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. You know,
Right,
like that.
absolutely. And if you don't like it, then initiate a different exchange. Then get up. It's the same.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, you don't want to go to the fucking ground with me. Okay, then stand up. It's the same thing with a wrestler. If I can't fucking get a guy to the ground, that's my problem. That's my fault. If I have a
Hmm.
striker and my game plan is to take him down and I can't, I mean that's on me. I'm not evolving as a fighter. This is mixed martial arts. This isn't boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. This isn't wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or any of that. This is MMA, and we're gonna go in all areas, and that's what gets people tired in fights is compiling the stand up with the ground, and that's why I'm very successful, and that's why I tire out my opponent. It's because I mix everything up. I'll kick your legs off. I'll fucking exchange with you on your feet. Right when you think it's a boxing match, I take you down, and then I'll strike you in the face. I'll go for submissions, and that's what MMA is all about.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, like we're wrestlers. We had to come into this game and learn how to throw hands. They could learn how to escape a takedown or escape control. Let's talk a little bit about Raufeon Stots. So we know the fight's going to be like early fall ish. We think. You said you're already in his head. You did stay there with the bird in his face for a little bit. Tell us about that exchange a little.
Yeah, he's 100% scared. I can already see it. After that fight with Higo, after they raised my hand, they brought Stotts into the cage, and I
Mhm.
I saw that he was just absolutely stunned. And then when they did the face to face, I put my middle finger right in his mug. My finger was fucking touching his nose, and he didn't do shit for about 4 seconds. He was frozen. I know I'm already in his head. And even when we're chirping back and forth on social media or you see some of his interviews, he doesn't say that he's better than me. I'm always saying, you know what? Get better, Raufeon. It's going to have to be a competitive fight. I'm so much better. I talk about how much better I am than him. He talks about me being boring. He's not saying he's better than me. So that's
Mhm.
just little things that I'm picking up here and there, some self-doubt and self-unawareness. And I do really think I'm in his head. It's going to be great. Again, this is a fight that's probably either going to be in September or October. We don't know. But I'm going to continue to get in his head. Mental warfare is huge. At the end of the day, we're going inside a cage in front of thousands of people and we're sacrificing our lives. So that obviously gets to you over a long training camp because that's all you have to do is think about. And sometimes you have those doubts in your mind of, oh, fuck, if I lose, am I going to be embarrassed and all that shit? I'm just going to compile that with him, make him think a lot. And with me, that's just what I do. I'm at home talking shit. I'm at home with the bright lights, high pressure situations. I think that's when I thrive my best. So I think this upcoming fight with Stots will be my best performance.
For sure, man. And this is another reason why I love following you. Obviously, I've always loved following you before all this. I want people to know that, like, first, I almost got into like Twitter wars over the bullshit people were saying about you on Friday. I'm like, you know what? I just fucking, let me just watch these fights. And
You're
then,
fucking
but,
idiot, dude. Don't take the bait. You're probably debating with some 12-year-old fat ginger who doesn't know shit, who's going back to his video games. They don't know shit, dude. Don't fall into the bait.
yeah, man, like I know the work you put into this sport, and I'm just so happy. Like I remember we were talking like a year ago, and like you knew something was coming, but you weren't sure what. And now look at you, you're fucking fighting for the interim title, and you're about to be world champion. It's
Yeah,
fucking
dude,
great, man.
a lot of people don't understand. Not only was I not supposed to be in this tournament, but I wasn't even supposed to be in Bellator. I got a call from my manager on 5 days' notice to fight Brett Johns, who was top 10 in the UFC at one time. So obviously I made the best out of that opportunity. And then thank
Mhm.
God Sergio Pettis is a pussy and backed out of this tournament because I wasn't even supposed to be in the tournament. So obviously I'm very grateful to Sergio. Thank God he's a little bitch. I got my opportunity. I beat Lugo. Then I beat Higo. Now I'm in the semis, and it's looking like I'm going to win the whole fucking thing. And not only that, man, I'm making it look easy. I'm dominating these guys. And this is another fight with Stotts coming up where I feel like I could dominate him. I don't think he poses too much of a threat to me. Obviously anything can happen. I can slip on a banana peel. He can get lucky with a head kick like he did against Archuleta. But this is
Mhm.
another fight where I see myself going out there and dominating him.
I can't disagree with you, homie. It's so funny. Like, I gotta like I'm trying to be careful with not being biased, but I'm like, dude, every time like when you're on, you're like, dude, like it bleeds out. I like these fights for you. Like
No,
it is what it
absolutely.
is.
And it's a common theme. It just seems like with whenever I'm being interviewed that people are just slowly starting to understand, man, I don't know how Danny Sabatello would lose. Maybe if he stuffs my shots and he nicks me in the head or cuts me open early and gets lucky with something, maybe it could change the fight. But the good thing about these fights is there's 5 rounds. So it's not like if a round gets away from me, it's a big deal. I'll sacrifice losing a round. Yeah, again, 5 rounds is
Mhm.
just massive for me. I got the best cardio in MMA. And I wanted to really test myself last fight in terms of losing a round, and I did. So now that my composure and staying poised has been accomplished, man, I'm going to be a very dangerous guy to beat.
Dude, I might be bringing up that one fight early in your career for fucking like every time I speak with you, like, and just how you've had your wrestling nullified for 30 seconds and that dude suplexed you twice and bam, you just booted him in the mouth. And it's like, so I've seen the weapons. I know they're there. Now everyone else gets to see it.
Right, right. And now on that big stage, I'm under Bellator, I'm on Showtime. I think people are slowly starting to fucking realize that I do have all the tools in the shed. My stand up is also very good. My defense is insane. I always have high hands. You go back and watch the fight, and I don't think he go punched me in the face one time. I have no nicks on me, no nothing. So my defense is very intact. Stand up's really good, but obviously my bread and butter is the grappling. But it's great because my stand up will set up my grappling and my grappling will set up my stand up. So it's just beautiful. I'm just going to keep evolving. I've only been in the sport for like 4-ish years now, maybe 3-4 years. So it's only going to get bigger and brighter from here.
Absolutely. Danny, enjoy the rest of your week off. Have fun with the friends, and we're going to be rooting for you, and we'll have you on again as soon as we can. All right.
Absolutely. Whatever you need, love coming on the show.
Love it, Danny. Keep kicking ass.
Yep.
All right, later.
See ya.